And welcome, everybody, to the Uninformed Fan. That's right, the boys are back. It's football season. We are in full swing, and everybody's looking sexy out there. Justice, how we doing today, man? Great to see you. And my man Jeffrey over there, always looking great as we get the little things going here. Jeffrey, how we doing today? Hair looks
doing
good
well
today.
Doing well. Thanks, man. Trying. You know, I'm trying not to wear a hat every single show, just to not piss off your father.
You know, it was crazy. I was getting ready to say, you know, that was one of my father's biggest things, because guys like us that don't really have hair, man, you know, y'all should, you know, you gotta wear that shit proud.
It's also bothering me too. I feel like I need a curtain on this window right here, because it's like the natural ambient light is not doing what it should be doing. So I was trying to play with my settings. Stop it, Justice. Stop it, bro. I was trying to play with my
I was actually getting ready to say the black makes him look a little thin, but
in the pre-show trying to do a few things, and it's not working. So,
well, you know, it's unfortunate but fortunate. You know, obviously you get the trade-off if you get, you know, a little bit quieter around the house, especially during showtime. But when the kids go back to school, you also lose your tech support.
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties this morning. I didn't realize we were putting the PC monitors into our Nintendo Switches now. So, but here we are. We figured it out. You know, I got my all the HDMIs plugged into the correct ports. We're good to go.
You know, also it's always good to have the things plugged into the right holes.
Yes, very important in general in life as well too, to make sure that things go in the correct holes.
Things could get
otherwise you get the angry dolphin sometimes. You know what the angry dolphin is?
No,
it's when you're hitting your significant other from the back and you slip up and almost put it in her butt. She turns around and goes,
Why does it have to be your significant other?
It could be whoever you want.
That's
I feel like 2025 is the year of love, and so
really, we're taking it back to the 70s.
I just
Make love, not war.
We're a producer down right now. He's on a cruise, and so we hope he's having a good time.
Yeah, when he was like,
we're
all going to be doing work this day. I'll probably pop in. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was
If I was
waiting
on
on that rough outline as well too for the
at 10 o'clock this morning after work, I go, I guess I'm not getting that rough outline. I'll go ahead.
The outline's not going to happen either. All right, Jeremy's on a cruise. We hope he's having a great time. You think right now it's 11 o'clock in the morning. He's on a Royal Caribbean cruise. He definitely has a cocktail in his hand. It's probably a PBR or some shitty beer that he's drinking right now, which is absolutely fine. What is your go-to cruise drink? Like if you're in the mood, first
of all, I've never taken a cruise.
And okay,
never been on a cruise. However, I do travel to the tropics a lot.
Do you have the fear of water or boats?
No, we just haven't done it. We're actually, we actually were talking last night. I got an email from, for whatever reason, a lot of the luxury cruise lines, the St. Regis yachts, the Four Seasons private yachts, the Virgins, all these people have put me on their mailing list for whatever reason.
But stayed there.
I've never stayed with Virgin. I guess I did fly Virgin, but yes, okay. But they sent an email last night about a Halloween cruise.
Okay.
And we're really looking into that. That
Sounds
could be
like
our
a
first
swingers
one.
Cruise.
It is not. It is not swingers.
Okay.
However, it is adult only.
Right.
All Virgin cruises are adult only, and as a couple that doesn't have kids, that's always a plus. But we don't discriminate because we're also looking at taking a Disney cruise. Because let's be honest, for the price that we can get a Disney cruise for, it's kind of dumb not to.
For sure. The food's great. There's complete adult only areas as well too that you don't have.
We don't mind kids.
No. But what I'm saying is they have adult only shows. They have like a lot of stuff is catered for only adults. So anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we might do that.
But
for my go-to drink, there's two drinks, right? There's two drinks that are, I guess we can say, our go-to.
Yes.
And we only have a couple of them because we're both bartenders, and it's definitely the mudslide. There's usually a mudslide in there, and then a Miami Vice.
Vice
are usually our two go-tos, and then if I'm on the beach or whatever, then I'm reverting to the High Noon pineapples. It's just such a refreshing drink. I don't, you just said that Jeremy's drinking beer at 11 o'clock. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's my old man age. Drinking beer for 12 hours to me anymore is
do it.
It's not appealing anymore.
I can't do it. I have to be in the last half of my drinking stage for me to drink a beer. When I say that, there's got to be an hour or two that I have left in that window that I've set aside for me to be able to enjoy myself. I'm not just coming out and ripping an IPA. I'm not coming out and ripping a Michelob Ultra and a shot of Fireball. I'm going to put you onto something at the draft, and I need you to try it. I need you to trust me on it. I've been drinking Deep Eddy's Pineapple Mules.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you remember back when we used to go, this is years and years and years ago, where we used to go to Yard House for happy hour back in the old ale house days, and they used to have what was called a Hawaiian Mule.
That was so good. What was that bartender's name? He had perfect hair, just beautiful hair.
Well, you remember Phil worked there.
Yeah, it wasn't Phil. I think it was. I don't know if did we go together.
We yes, multiple times.
Okay, so I remember my other
friend, Drive days. That was
I remember my other friend Nick. We used to go there a lot, and there was a bartender there that we both knew. I can't remember his name. Shorter, but just beautiful black hair like yours. Just styled. Pineapple Mule was always the go-to there. 100%.
Hawaiian Mule was incredible, and so I've recreated this with Deep Eddy's Pineapple now. And it's just with the effervescence of the ginger beer and a little bit of the lime juice in there. It's just chef's kiss,
that's
baby.
all. It's crazy. Funny you say that because I'm pretty much a vodka guy now. I'm just a vodka guy. I don't know why I am. I'm just a vodka guy. But every time when I go out to dinner, a nice steakhouse, or anything like that, if I'm not drinking a wine that's paired with my steak, it's always Moscow Mules. Always really? Mules. Love ginger beer. I keep ginger beer stocked at the house. We have.
You don't go the old-fashioned route?
I'm not a big whiskey bourbon guy.
You're not drinking Hennessy, Justice.
I've tried. I've tried. And if you look someday, Jeff, someday when you come over and see the house,
Someday.
you will see the liquor cabinet stocked with E&J, Blanton's, the whole 9 yards. I've tried. Matter of fact, remember, at your place, the smoky, the case with the smoky to make the smoky old fashions. My wife bought me one of those, and we've never used it.
I don't use mine ever.
She puts it on. She just listed it, whatever for sale, but whatever.
On what?
But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see if anybody comes back walking a little differently from this cruise or anything of that nature. We'll see what happens. It's just I'm just glad that our producer, regardless of the situation, regardless of the expectations, and regardless of whatever awkwardness is happening out there, I'm just glad that he has somebody to get out, enjoy life with, and do some other things versus just working and going back to his house. That's just congratulations 3 times. I'm sure that we'll definitely clip this and make fun of you at some point.
Just as I have been dabbling in Hennessy a little bit lately, kind of a throwback to my old roots, but it's only on certain occasions. Only when Nico's doing a shot of Hen, I'll rip a shot with them at church, and that's about it. But Hen is
really a shot though. Is it a shot?
I mean, you can drink Hen however you want to. I used to drink it straight out of the bottle. That and Rumpleman's making a huge comeback now at the bar scene as well.
On that note, we will be moving on because we have much more stuff to talk about. And I think I just threw up in my mouth thinking of the taste of Rumpleman's. Let's get into it. NFL season is back full swing. Preseason is among us. Before we get into any type of action that we have and what we thought we seen on the field and expectations, I will tell you this. There has been a slew of injuries in the NFL. I was talking to cousin, or I don't know if it was you. No, I think it was cousin Clay. I was just like, man, baseball, the same thing. It just seems like there's so many more injuries. And, he brought up the point, well, you got faster, more well-built athletes that are just causing harder collisions. And this is causing it. But then I go back to right? It's just stronger, faster athletes. I
don't know, man. Earl Campbell, Walter Payton, Bo Jackson.
Well, I was gonna go into the Brian Bosworths,
Sean Taylor. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis. I don't know. I mean,
here's the difference that I see though. Look at the let's go back to 85 Bears, which I think everybody will consider was probably one of the most meanest, toughest, ruthless defenses out there.
Sure.
They had pads up to their ears. Up to the ears. Now the pads barely go above your shoulder. Yeah. And I understand technology is different in the absorption of the pads and stuff, but shit ain't working. But then again, it's not like we're seeing shoulder injuries or anything like that. We did have a freak neck injury, which we'll get to, but it's more of the knee and the ligaments that I've seen lately. I don't know what else is out there, but man, it just seems to me like as soon as anybody takes the field, somebody's hurt walking out there. I mean, who was the guy that blew his ACL or his Achilles when he was running out into the fields with the 49ers?
Oh, you're talking about the linebacker for the 49ers.
I want to say Brandon something, but I don't.
Bowman or something like that.
I mean, he literally blew his Achilles running on the field.
I think that was in the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
He was playoffs. I don't know. But anyway, let's get into a few of them here. Obviously, one of the biggest ones that we're going to talk about is Alexander Madison, the Dolphins' backup running back. He's done for the year. Ty Greenlaw. That was, you're absolutely right. Ty Greenlaw.
Dre Greenlaw.
Whatever.
Dre.
Who's Ty Greenlaw?
There's Ty Law, who
I think I'm thinking Ty Law.
Because play for
the Patriots. Yeah, it's one of my wife's, and she got a car, maybe that. But Alexander Madison, complete out for the season with a severe neck injury. I mean, that one's tough. I will tell you this. We talked about the Miami Dolphins already last week, and Devon Achane, to me, just skyrocketed in fantasy value right there. I think that line's going to be completely changed over there. We had A.J. Brown tweaking his hamstring. We have Rondell Moore of the Vikings, another season-ending injury, who also blew it.
The Eagles too. Landon Dickerson had a little bit of a scare, but looks like he's only going to miss a few weeks now. But they were worried it was going to have to be a meniscus surgery that happened to Landon Dickerson a few days ago. So good news.
Who was that one again? Oh yeah, Landon Dickerson. Consider week to week after a torn meniscus on practice on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm bouncing between two different sites here. And then Anthony Richardson, of course, who just does not see a blitz coming, just gets absolutely destroyed.
That's like day one install too. Is like, hey, this is a zero protection play. You're gonna have a free runner. You got to get rid of the ball quickly. Throw the ball to where the blitz is coming from. And
he thought the blitz was coming from the left.
Stared down the other side and never looked back the other way.
But
he's back in practice. He's okay. I mean,
he's back, but it goes to a larger issue that we both said coming out of the draft and drafting Anthony Richardson that high was that he really hasn't played a lot. He played like one season in Florida. He's just a freak athlete. Now he has come back. He has come back. He's put on weight. He's put on muscle. I mean, you were talking about a boy that looks thick now. Woo! He's looking thick. He's looking jacked, and he's only 23 years old. And I think that the Colts,
he doesn't need to wear black, to look thick.
I think that the Colts have a very good mindset with that. As the GM came out and said, I'm sure that the Browns are upset that they gave up on Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. These guys that just take reps. And this kid's only 23 years old. He's the same age as Caleb Williams. He's the same age as a few others that have just come out. Definitely not Bo Nix. I mean, that guy's like 45 already. But, it's just one of those things where he has to get reps. But, man, you got to see that, dude. You just got to. Love underwent surgery on his non-throwing thumb. Doesn't expect it to be ready. But Christian Watson, there's rumors he might miss the whole season. At minimum, the first 4 games. Christian Watson was somebody that was coming out of college that was so highly touted, right? Freak athlete again, could go up and make the catches. Really, he's been injured pretty much his entire career. And even when he was back, he just didn't hit the numbers. I mean, at this point, you might be throwing the B word around with him, huh?
Bust?
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I mean, I think he's been an underperformer so far in his career. I've had him on my team most times just because I wanted a deep threat with Jordan Love and a guy who I think is still going to be able to produce and be a high fantasy outputter, if you will. But I think just gives more value to Matthew Golden.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, but that wide receiver core is kind of crazy, right? I mean, when you
they definitely have a type, right? Like they definitely love fast wide receivers who maybe have been questionable at catching the ball in college, who they're going to try to transform there with Dontavius Wicks, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. Now you add
Romeo Doubs,
so they all are very similar in terms of the way that stylistically the way that they are. So.
Well, and of course, Matt LeFleur has already, they've come out numerous times and said that they don't have a true number one. I mean, I guess that goes to show you. I mean, I don't know.
He's not wrong. I was thinking about this, and I know you wanted to get a little bit into this as well too, because we were talking about preseason and obviously the performance of your boy.
Hold on, let's get through the injuries first.
You were talking about different backup quarterbacks. I thought it was interesting. Some of those guys that you named, they've been passed up by a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Like Sam Darnold was with Shanahan, with the 49ers. I mean, Baker Mayfield, yes, he was with the Browns, but he was also with the Panthers and he was with the Rams and Sean McVay before landing in Tampa. So sometimes you're right about AR. It might take a little bit of extra time. It might take extra sets of eyes to understand exactly what that skill set is, hone in on it, and then make it perform for you.
Do you think that McVay and the Rams, especially now that we're going to talk about Matthew Stafford that still hasn't practiced all year due to his back injury, do you think they regret letting Baker Mayfield go?
No, I don't. I think Baker was looking for an opportunity like he found in Tampa, and I think that would not have been the opportunity for him in LA. I don't think
I'm talking about moving on to Baker after what we saw Baker do at the end of that season, right? I mean, that was the spark that got all the general managers interested, right? It was like, holy shit, wait,
for sure,
Baker still got it. Is he the Baker from the Browns or is he the Baker now? And then then there was rumors of Matt Stafford and his wife, and not necessarily synergy and. Look into the future. I mean, you maybe had 1 or 2 good years out of Matt Stafford left where Baker still had a whole lot of future ahead of him. I mean, I would just wonder looking back now, knowing what they know now, and of course, nobody has a crystal ball. If Sean McVay and the LA Rams were like, man, maybe we should have kept Baker and just let Matt go.
I mean, they went to a Super Bowl.
This was after they won, though. Baker was on there after the Super Bowl win.
I think that was the year before. This is what, Baker's third year in Tampa? So maybe you're right. Maybe it was the year coming off the Super Bowl hangover year that he was there.
They won.
But they still had great success when it comes to Stafford. And also, I think the Stafford thing,
the 21-22 season,
it'll work itself out in a sense of it's a back injury. We've both had injured backs before, and we understand that it can be crippling to a sense. But he's working with the best of the best, and I don't see any way that he's going to miss legitimate time with that.
Who is this guy? Who's this guy in the chat? Don't get me started with everyone's favorite college quarterbacks. Who's saying Anthony Richardson their favorite college quarterback?
Can we also talk about the fact that you guys have just like slutted out Tim Tebow's number now to multiple people?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't agree with that. That number should have been retired. He's arguably one of the most impactful, greatest college players ever. It should have been retired.
Like if I look at Anthony Richardson or if I look at Graham Mertz wearing number 15 again, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. Yeah. Who's wearing it this year?
Who knows? I don't know.
Not DJ Lagway.
We'll get into college. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, back to the injury front here. Who else do we got? We did Landon Dickerson. Darius Slay left with an injury.
I think he's like day-to-day or something like that.
Jaden Reed is in a walking boot.
Yeah.
Rondell Moore, we talked about, missed the entire season. Justin Jefferson's been dealing with a lingering hamstring injury. Jordan Addison's going to be suspended. Tyjae Spears is done for the preseason. He said he'll be back for week 1. Rachaad White gets a growing injury in the preseason game. But I'll tell you what, man. I can't wait till we get into the NFC South because you got to feel so freaking good about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Sean Tucker stepped right in and just boom. Like you had so much depth at every position. There's got to be a weakness, Jeff. It's got to be a weakness, and I don't think it's on the offensive side.
No, it's probably the secondary, honestly, if we're going to be honest about anything. Neither here nor there, though. Rachaad White's in a contract year. I don't think Rachaad White's trying to go get hurt in preseason. You know what I'm saying? And tank whatever value he's going to have in the open market next year. So I would just take that with a grain of salt. You know,
we talked about Alexander Madison missing the entire season. Anybody else here? We do have some day-to-days here, but other than that, let's get into a little bit of the actual preseason action that we had going on here. Jeff, did you get a chance to watch any of the preseason games? Did you get the wonderful opportunity to watch Kyle Trask in preseason? Because as I said in the last show, this is my time to shine. This is all my good quarterbacks play in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, all the people that you root for as Gator alumni are usually backups. I did see a few different
knowledge, the low depth of the digs that you tried to get onto the Gators continually. Is there you guys starting Florida State quarterbacks out there right now?
No.
Any second strings?
For a while there was like a ton. It was crazy.
I mean, Rex Grossman took the Bears to the Super Bowl. I mean, we could talk about stupid stuff, but is there any number 2?
What are we talking about?
Number 2 quarterback 2.
For a while they had like Christian Ponder, EJ Manuel.
Florida State. I guess Jameis is Jameis second string or is he third string now?
I don't know what Jameis is. I hope he gets out of there and goes to New Orleans. Anyway, I did see Kyle Trask look great. 12-16, efficient, didn't really push the ball down the field too much, but I thought he had some really nice intermediate throws and checkdowns. But I mean, listen, this is what Trask is. This is why he signed to the contract that he signed. This is why he's on.
They lowballed him, man. Oh,
what was Kyle Trask's market? Like, what do you think his market was? He's been the backup since Brady was there, and it's fine if Baker gets hurt. Like I said before in pre-show, we've had great, knock on wood, so far. We've been very blessed with non-quarterback injuries.
I hope he gets hurt this year.
Who, Trask?
No, Baker. Not, but let me preface this. Nothing like serious, but just something where he has to miss one game early in the season. Just just maybe a little tweak. He could play, but the coaches are like, you know what? Let's just sit you out for a game, and let the kid play.
We're gonna let Kyle Trask play Week 17 against the Carolina Panthers when we have the division locked up. He'll get all the burn that he wants to. Hope he does well.
I don't know what the market was, but I think that the market for a backup quarterback is more than $1.5 million.
Well, maybe he really likes the city of Tampa and he likes not being taxed on his money and he likes playing for a perennial contender and he loves the organization because regardless of what you want to say about Tampa Bay,
you're not
Tampa
wrong
Bay has been, we've quietly won the division 5 years in a row.
I take that back. He signed for $2.8 million.
We've continued
only a 1-year deal though.
To just grow and grow and grow in terms of culture and locker room and everything like that. I'd love to see, I think even a couple of years ago, even during Brady times, I think sometimes the culture was a little interesting. Bruce Arian times, the culture was a little interesting, but they've done a great job with Todd Bowles and just kind of, steady hands.
Who everybody was calling for his head a year ago.
Jason Lake has continued to be the second best GM in the NFL, only to Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman for the Eagles. Oh, and listen, it's really cool when you're getting every single year people are trying to poach people from the Bucks, whether it be front office people, whether it be coaches, whoever it is. I mean, this is the reason that we're going through what we are is because success breeds winners. You know what I mean? And people want a part of it. So
well, we're going to talk a little bit about, the starters getting to play or whatever, but the Bengals come out. They did put all the starters out there, Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Burrow, and of course they just went ballistic right off the rip. I think that's very important. Of course, they lost the game, but who cares? Nobody really cares about the actual score. I think it's very important for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, the past 2 years, they've gotten off to just a terrible start that they've dug themselves in a hole. And then, of course, injuries when they're trying to pile on. I'm so glad to see that they're actually starting their starters out there. And, they put up 2 touchdowns the first quarter, Ja'Marr Chase, Joe Burrow. I think that draft with confidence anybody off of that Bengals squad. One of the ones that was a little interesting is the Raiders. And now the Raiders also showcased Ashan Dinty, who had a stellar negative -1 yard. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that I don't know if we've even talked about. No, we haven't. Because we're actually going to do it today. We're talking about the NFC West today. We're talking about fantasy. We'll get into that a little bit
NFC
later.
And AFC.
I'm not going to even touch on that. Didn't see much of anything else. I will say, though, that I did watch Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, and I loved everything that I saw. They got the new kid that they just drafted, Tetris McClellan or whatever his name is. He looked absolutely great. The synergy with him and Bryce Young looks already there. I think that you're going to see a sneaky improvement out of the Carolina Panthers. And to your point, what you talked in pre-show, you can still get a lot of those receivers and running backs in later rounds, in my opinion, that they should be going for.
For sure. And listen, we talk about this all the time, right? And about how there's just in fantasy, I'm just trying to avoid situations, right? Situations that I don't think are going to be great. I'm trying not to draft those guys. I'll take whatever the next available, best replacement for my team is at that point. But there's also situations that I want to target as well too. I don't mind targeting, let's say a Jacksonville or a Carolina or Dallas or the Jets. There's the Patriots. There's a ton of teams that I think are going to have a little bit of value.
The value is definitely going to be there
in terms of skill players because they built the draft and they're doing a great job at it. So yeah, I feel like the Panthers probably a good example of that. I did really like what I saw from Shador. I thought it was great to watch. I thought he played with composure.
Yep. He's really. I mean, he's locked down that 4-string role,
which is insane to me that you give a guy. He performs like he performed. 2 touchdowns, lead the ball down the field, just calm in the pocket. He's got good presence. He stands tall. He reminds you a little bit of his idol in Brady in terms of pocket presence, awareness, and being able to just hit those little intermediate throws and kill people over the middle. I thought it was great to watch.
I think he only missed 2 throws. He missed 1 floater. That the guy was wide open. He kind of airmailed it a little bit on the run. And then I think there was one other one. But yeah, for the most part, he looked really, really good. I don't know what the deal is. I mean, I don't know how you can still keep him behind a Dylan Gabriel that didn't even play. And are you really going to carry 4 quarterbacks throughout the year? I don't know, man.
There's certain. I think they have. So they have Flacco, Pickett. They have
Dylan
Gabriel. They have Shador, and they have
Deshaun Watson, and still Deshaun Watson,
and Deshaun Watson. So
6.
Deshaun Watson's not on the roster, I believe. So
well, he's probably on the pup or whatever. But I don't know.
Well,
I mean, we could just both agree that the Browns continue to be a dumpster fire, even when they're showing promise.
You watch it, so you watch some of the Titans and Bucks game, obviously, because of Trask. What were your thoughts on Cam Ward, number 1 pick?
Looks great. I think he's the real deal. He's everything that I wanted to see out of Caleb Williams coming at number 1 that I've yet to see. It doesn't look like he's overthinking things. He's taking what's available. And I'll tell you, when we get into it, Calvin Ridley is definitely going to be somebody that's on my radar, especially where he's being drafted at. So
for sure. It was interesting. I do think there is and I'm with you on Cam Ward. I think the Titans are kind of a sneaky little team this year as well, too. The only thing I'll always say about it, and I think he did the same thing at Miami. I was listening to somebody talk about this yesterday. Pardon me, is his depth of drop back. That it gets a little elongated sometimes, and instead of staying compact, he's always out of the shotgun. And he always has a few steps to take back. Well, that's like taking a 5 or 7 step drop every single time. And sometimes you get a little bit too far in that depth. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know he's very calm in the pocket. He moves his feet really well. He gets around a lot. It'll be interesting to see how that translates to the NFL in terms of, preparedness and stuff like that. But he seems like he's got a great head on his shoulders. He has all the talent in the world, and sky's the limit for him.
I will tell you, number 1s can always look like rock stars when they're going against number 3s and 4s. That's just the way it is. The parity in the NFL when it comes from after, first and second string down, it does get a little egregious. But yes, I agree. I think he looked great. We'll see what happens with the rest of that. Justin Fields with the New York Jets. Woo, buddy. I loved what I saw out of him, dude. And not on his legs as everybody else is going to think. I loved the passing. I loved the throws. I saw him actually work progressions. Shout out to the wide receiver that basically gave Justin Fields that touchdown. I don't know if you saw the play when he scrambled in, but he ran out to the right pocket. I don't know who the receiver was, but they were leading the defender away. He saw Justin Fields starting to run, and he started to look up and put his hands up like the ball was coming to him. And, dude, that defender just trailed him the whole way. Justin Fields just trapped on in. Buff, what's going on, boy? What's going on, my man? But Justin Fields looking good, man. Gosh, I hope he can stay healthy. I'll tell you, the biggest thing also out of that is the Jets didn't allow 1 sack.
Mm-hmm.
That's big if you're a New York Jets fan.
I never understood the reason that Pittsburgh was moving on last year after you started off so well with him, but it is what it is. I've said before, this is one of the situations that I want a part of in fantasy football. Give me all the Jets I can get. I do think this offense will be much improved this year. And yeah, I mean, Justin, it's funny. I saw something Cam Ward was talking about being nervous. And I like that. And they were doing a close in of Justin Fields walking out of the tunnel and how many times he was adjusting himself and touching himself and, being fidgety and yada yada. Like, look how nervous he is. And I'm like, perfect. It's a natural human emotion. He's going out. That means that he cares.
No matter how many golf tournaments I played in, always got butterflies on the first tee.
Yeah. I feel like that shows me human emotion, that you care about what's going on and that you're emotionally invested in wanting to do well. And from a psychological standpoint, I'll take that all day, as opposed to a guy who's out there who, couldn't care less and whatever. If he messes up, he messes up. These are guys who
I'm getting paid.
Give a fuck, you know what I mean? And they want to perform for their team or their city. Which is another thing I thought was cool too, is like Shador, going out into the community and doing those community events. That thing that I sent to you guys. I just think that's really cool. Even as a 4-string quarterback, a guy who doesn't have to do that, he's already trying to be a leader in the community. And I think that's a great thing to kind of rally around.
Well, he probably also has more money than all of them, except for maybe Deshaun.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that he has a multi-million-dollar car collection already. Shout out to him. Justin Fields is not a backup quarterback, and that is why he is not there in Pittsburgh, and that's why he did not resign, is because Pittsburgh, even regardless, would not guarantee him a shot. So He's just not a backup.
He was touching himself, Justice. He was feeling himself.
Absolutely. I didn't really see the other ones. I am going to touch a little bit on the Chicago Bears, obviously coming out and playing against the Dolphins. They did not play anybody, and to me, that's just mind boggling. I just don't understand it. You got Caleb Williams that arguably struggled through, a majority, half of the year, or whatever. He started to get some things going, and I just didn't understand it. We did get our first look at, Colston Loveland, and he does look like he's going to be the real deal here.
He's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a very interesting thing. So to me, you've got everything on the Chicago Bears, in my opinion. The defense might not be as vaunted as it used to be. However, you have all the weapons. You got Cole Kmet, you got Colston Loveland, you got, DJ Moore, you got Rome Odunze, you got Luther Burden III, you got DeAndre Swift, you got Roshan Johnson. What more do you need, bro? I mean, if you got all of these people and not one of them can get open, you just made some solidifying moves on the offensive line. I guess that would be the only issue. Is Caleb gonna have, the trauma carry over from running for his life for an entire season? I don't know. Will he get happy feet? I don't know. But I just believe he should be playing.
Bears fans are up in arm about this, and I however you feel is completely validated. There's like two ways to look at this, right? Either they're just trying to hide how good they're going to be, or they're trying to hide how bad they actually are. So
great point that you said that.
Who really knows what it is?
So after,
because obviously the Chicago media is the Chicago media, and they're going to overanalyze, practice throws from Caleb Williams to a net, and we're going to break.
Yeah, I don't buy into that
first about his confidence level and how that throw and the body language was just terrible, and it's like all this shit that they got to fucking deal with when it comes to him. I feel like Ben is kind of trying to protect him a little bit.
Maybe. I don't buy in any of that crap. I don't really care what happens on the practice field. To me, throw 5 interceptions on the practice field. That's great. Yeah. Because then if you keep doing it, I guess, then it's an issue if you do it the next day. But I don't want to see it into the game. I will say this. After watching a couple screen passes, and having flashbacks of the Mark Trestman era in Chicago, I'd sent it to Cousin Clay. I'm like, really? And he responded was, "This can't be the fucking offense." So maybe to your point, maybe Ben is holding it back. I don't know.
I've had a few arguments about this, not arguments, but just kind of try to have thoughtful banter with people around the way. And I think it's going to be a very interesting year. I think you guys have to be really patient. And I know it's going to be tough to tell a Bears fan to be patient because of your history and what you've been through. But this offense is going to take a minute to try to get a hold of.
Yeah, of course.
And he's going to need time to develop it. Listen, one of the reasons that it was so successful in Detroit is because Goff had it for a couple years in a row. And you saw finally by the end of it, when we're adding all the trick plays, we're adding the end of the rounds, we're adding the, backfield motion sets that we're doing. We have Jameson Williams, on in arounds and running backs throwing footballs and so on and so forth. That's all great. But the first thing you need is the basis of the offense. And I think that's where we're going to have to start this year. I don't think you're going to see a ton of razzle dazzle from Ben Johnson, just because cerebrally, Jared Goff is far head and shoulders above where Caleb is right now. And it's going to take time.
Cerebrally. You channeling your Professor X there?
I don't know if cerebrally is a word, but it should be. Cerebrally, yeah, mentally.
Oh, wait,
mentally
here.
Yeah, mentally, I think he's just, head and shoulders above where Caleb is. And so I think it was easier for him to be able to throw those things in that offense where it's going to take Caleb a little bit of time.
Of course. Let me talk to you real quick, Bears fans, as we move on. Let me just quelter and stifle your expectations. This is not a Super Bowl team. Is it a Super Bowl roster? Yes.
Yes.
But Super Bowl rosters just don't get thrown together one year historically and just go on a run. Okay. Especially with a newer quarterback. Here's what you need to think about, Bears fans, when you're watching Caleb Williams and watching Chicago Bears. You want to see a progression. Is he making better decisions than he did last year? Is the team look better than they did last year? Do the players buy in? And that's all you need. Rome wasn't built in a day, and the Chicago Bears certainly are not going to be built in a day. So just manage your expectations. All you should go into this season is I want to see a better performance than I saw last year.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I think there's little things that I look for as well, too. I want to see body language. I want to see the chemistry back and forth between head coach and between quarterback when he's coming off the field. Are we talking about things and processing through them? Is a light bulb flickering in his head when Ben Johnson says, hey, this is actually what it's supposed to be? And Caleb goes, oh, my God. Okay, cool. Yeah, now I get it now. Like, do we have those moments? Or is it just I don't understand. Because if it's I don't understand, then
we got problems.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
But if the light bulb can flicker and we can have a a moment of understanding and brevity, then cool, let's go.
And that's all Lewis you want. Well, let's get into it. The moment everybody's been waiting for. Obviously, Marcus Buffington waited till we, got halfway through the show so he could get into our fantasy targets out of the NFL West. Let's start off with the NFC. First of all, we have the Rams as the division champs at 10-7. Seahawks tied at 10-7. Cardinals 8-9, and the 49ers are lowly 6-11. Now let's start off with the Rams. The Rams last year, again, like I said, 10-7. Their over/under win total this year is 10.5. So the betting gurus are expecting a little bit more out of this. And I don't know if this is the addition of Devontae Adams that is going to free up Puka Nacua a little bit more. But again, we also saw what happened in the playoffs. So they were the only team that basically came close to knocking off the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs. The talent is definitely there. I thought the Devontae Adams was a huge addition. Regardless of what you think happened in New York with Aaron Rodgers stuff, Devontae Adams is still a beast. And last year you had Cooper Kupp going with Puka Nacua. You still have – no, that's not them. So you didn't really have the big guy that could go up and get the ball. Well, now you got a big guy that can go up get the ball with Devontae Adams from Matt Stafford, and then you got Puka Nacua running around there like a scrambling, Miss Pac-Man, getting all the, Puka Nacua, obviously one of the most targeted wide receivers last year. I don't know over 10.5 though. I really don't. I think that's still a stout. I haven't really looked at their schedule while you look at it, but the only person that I am targeting on the LA Rams is Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. To me, that's where the fantasy numbers are. Maybe a little bit of the running back, but I think that it's just those two in my opinion.
So it's actually 9.5 over on Hard Rock right now, but 9.5 minus 150. So if you are looking for a line, there's one there for you. This is my division winner pick, is the LA Rams. I think they have one of the best rosters in the NFL. I'm a little worried about the secondary just slightly and how they're going to be able to slow people down. But I think with Braden Fisk and with Jared Verse on that defensive line, that things will kind of work themselves out, and it masks a lot of those problems there. The number one thing I'm worried about is Matt Stafford. This has been put some respect on Karen Williams.
Yeah, you lose all respect right then and there, Justice.
So it's interesting, right? Kyron Williams, they came out, said it was 3 years, $33 million he was signing for, so on and so forth. Now there hasn't been an official update on that, I believe. That was just what was reported in terms of what the thing was. So usually when that happens, I understand that means that there's less guaranteed money than what people are reporting, and they're trying to work out some semantics and things like that. But yeah, I do like the Rams this year. Listen, the only thing is that this division specifically, people are going to say it's the best division in the NFC or whatever it is, and it's absolutely not. I do think it's pretty top heavy when it comes to the top two, when you're talking about the Rams and you're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. But I do love the Rams. They are my pick to win this division this year. I'll take their over 9.5. I'll take their over 10.5. I like their backup situation.
You said Hard Rock has 9.5 at the moment.
9.5, yeah.
And the consensus in the consensus Vegas line is 10.5. Weird.
Yeah, it's over under 9.5. 9.5 is minus 150. Right now. I think there's probably some Stafford worries, but I don't mind Garoppolo being back there as well too, especially in a Sean McVay offense where they can kind of play to his strengths, if you will. As well too.
And what are Jimmy's strengths?
I think Jimmy's strengths are mental. I think he can usually make the right decision. He's not a huge turnover machine when it comes to throwing picks everywhere. You think he is?
Did you say that with a straight face?
Yeah. I don't think he's a huge turnover machine. I think he's had some untimely turnovers for sure. But I don't think in general, like you're thinking about Jimmy Garoppolo throwing 2 and 3 picks every single game. While Tyson pulls that up, I do still like their offensive line as well. I think that'll be good. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind Garoppolo as the backup there. Obviously, when he was, I kind of throw out the Las Vegas stuff because when he was there with Vegas, that was just a shitty situation for everybody. I don't think anybody was happy. I think everybody was miserable. From ownership all the way down to the 4-string linebacker on the team. So I think they've kind of moved on from there as well. Go ahead, hit me with some stat that you have.
I guess it's not too bad. He averages 5.6 turnovers. He did a, that's also accounting into the ones where he basically didn't play. But when we look at when was his starting in 2019? In 2019 with the San Francisco 49ers, he had 18 turnovers, followed by 5 the year before that, 14 the year after that, 6, 9. There's some turnovers in there. I mean, 18 turnovers in the 2019 season.
James was a starting quarterback and threw 30 picks.
Hey, man, 30 for 30. They didn't make that ESPN thing out of nothing.
That's what I'm saying. He's not like a gunslinger like I would consider like Jameis Winston. So
yeah, I guess it'd probably be serviceable, especially like what you're talking about with Sean McVay. Obviously, he's not going to put him in a situation that he does not excel at. So if he's a turnover machine and if it's a certain amount of
look at these guys
yardage.
Like, there's certain head coaches that are just really good with quarterbacks. You look at Sam Darnold going with Kevin Connell. You look at Stefanski has historically been pretty good as well too with quarterbacks. Obviously, Flacco. We'll see what happens there this year. But there's certain guys who are just quarterback whisperers who are.
That was
really
my
good
biggest issue with the Chicago Bears and whatever the vice president's name is, Williams or whatever, and the block of Jim Harbaugh. Right, the Bears have never had a good quarterback. Jim Harbaugh is widely known as you just said, the quarterback whisperer. He continues.
That's a preview to be talking about for the next division, but
yeah, that was one of the ones I was just like, how can you not even take a look at him? But anyway, moving on next, the division tied Seahawks 10-7. Their win total down to 8.5. I think that's pretty much spot on, probably a little bit under there. If for fantasy, man, outside of Kenneth Walker III, maybe Zach Charbonnet.
I have nobody pegged on here for fantasy football. I don't think that's not true. If you're looking for a defense to take in fantasy football, Seahawks might not be a bad play. I'll say that. Just because
still not even like the
listen, they got McDonald, who was the defensive guru behind that Ravens defense for so many years, who comes over and is was there last year. I don't know where this offense is going. I don't know how it's going to work. Cooper Kupp one side, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba on the other. I do think you probably get value out of Cooper Kupp at some point, but what are we really hoping for here? And also, Sam Darnold does not have a quarterback whisper anymore. So are we going back to seeing ghosts like we did toward the end of the year?
Who's the number 2?
For who?
For Seattle. Number 2 quarterback.
Is it Sam Howell? Number 2? Oh, no, it's not. I'm an idiot. It's Jalen Milroe is the backup there, who I could definitely see at some point.
Drew Lock is their number 2. Jalen Milroe is number 3.
Is 3.
On the official depth chart, yeah.
Drew Lock back in Seattle. I will say this. I think there's a certain point where we can see Jalen Milroe. And if that does happen, scoop him up on your fantasy waiver wire, because that kid is going to put up fantasy numbers. He will run around everywhere. He will push the ball down the field. He's an athletic, I don't want to say freak, but he's an athletic dude.
Savant.
Yeah. So for sure, if Jalen Milroe was starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, I'd have a little bit more confidence. I'd be taking that over.
Which is absolutely crazy considering that you have a $30 million man that just signed the contract, but you would feel more comfortable with Jalen Milroe.
I would. I swear to God I would. Because they could literally just run the ball down your throat. He could hit little outs to Cooper Kupp and to Jackson Smith and Jigba. He could pump the ball down the field sometimes. He could run the ball everywhere. Shut up, Justice. Justice said super freak.
Did he say it in that? Because that looks to me like super freak. I didn't see the musical note there. Like he was
I knowing Justice, I talk to Justice every day. I felt the musical note there. What's up?
Every day?
What's up, John P?
Wow.
John P says under as well too when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks. I'm with that.
Yeah, we are on that comment while you were on your tangent. Yeah, so I think the Seattle Seahawks are definitely what we will call fantasy football poor. Let's get into another poor team, but maybe some fantasy football upside. The Arizona Cardinals went 8-9 last year. 8.5 is the over. I actually like the over here, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that Kyler Murray comes back. Now, we did see the absolutely Terrible throw that he threw in preseason directly to the defender. But I think the Cardinals will be over this one as well. I think that with the Seahawks, obviously having some regression, I think they're going to pick up some wins there. If you are fantasying in Arizona, obviously Kyler Murray is going to be available kind of in those mid rounds. It's going to give you those upsides with those baby scrambles that we see, when he's got his bottle, these baby's arms and scrambling all around. James Conner could be a hit or miss. I'm not really sure. Usually with the scrambling quarterback, it does take a little bit away, especially at those goal lines where, they scramble. A lot of people are expecting Marvin Harrison Jr. to break out this year. Until I see it, nah. But I will tell you the one, probably the highest one, is Trey McBride. We saw him get absolutely just destroyed in targets all last year. Now, a lot of that had to do with some injuries and things of that nature, but I think maybe Trey McBride probably might be the highest fantasy upside up there besides Kyler Murray. But again, this is an offense that I just don't know yet. So I think that I'd probably stay away from the majority of players on the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, it's interesting. Marvin Harrison Jr. should technically be on my radar as a guy who I think should bust out this year. I just don't know if I see it. I feel like Kyler Murray is always, he's 1 year away from being 1 year away. It's just I don't know if it's ever going to come to fruition for him.
Does the new Call of Duty come out during the football season this year?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I talk to Just every day because we play Call of Duty every day, but that game is so chalk, bro. It's just it's unfortunate. Anyway, moving on. I think if you're going to draft James Conner, I would go ahead and try to grab Trey Benson at the very end of your draft as well, too, as a handcuff, just to make sure if Conner does get hurt. Conner had really good injury luck last year. Trey McBride had a great year and couldn't score a touchdown. So we look at some of these things when we come to analytic wise, and we say there's going to be regression back to the mean one way or another, right? Trey McBride will score touchdowns this year to go along with all the targets and all the catches he's going to have. And also James Conner will probably not stay healthy the entire year. Just saying. So, when you're looking at both those things, we're going to project out as well too. I don't know. I mean, I know one thing about the Cardinals, and that's they're usually losing, and somehow Kyler Murray finds a way to run around and try to, get them in a position. I still don't believe in their head coach as well too.
Once you see the baby scramble, you can't unsee it.
You want me to pick something? I'm going to take the under 8.5. I'm not taking the over 8.5. I think I probably have them pegged around 7 or 8. I just don't see it happening more than that.
The good thing is, Jeff, is that you still have a couple weeks to lock them all in because the 3 times not here to record anything. So
that's good. That's good. Yep. That's good.
Last on this one is the 49ers 6-11. Obviously, we all know that team is much better than the 6-11 season.
Absolutely.
They're vaulted back up to 10.5. Some fantasy targets here, obviously Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, and I'm going to also throw out Ricky Pearsall. And
Absolutely,
Ricky Pearsall is obviously coming off the second year. But with what's going on with that wide receiver room, I mean, Brandon Ayuk's out until probably at least week 7, maybe even longer.
6
Juwan
weeks,
Jennings is probably going to be out for the first few weeks as well.
Yep.
I mean, Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle could have absolutely blown up seasons. Now, I will tell you that everybody is on George Kittle with this, and he is going fairly high, 4th or 5th round. But Ricky Pearsall is going later in the 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds. I think that value there is absolutely huge. Christian McCaffrey, as somebody that holds the number 9 pick, that is somebody that's definitely on my radar for my round 1 pick.
Yep.
But with that also being said, I do, as you pointed out with James Conner, also have Isaac Guerrero or Guerrero, whatever.
Guerrero, I think.
As Isaac G. Definitely you have to have him, in my opinion, with Christian McCaffrey. I think you have to. I don't know if Christian McCaffrey's gone a full season in the last 5 years. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of good things coming out of San Francisco this year. Brock Purdy, also serviceable quarterback, going to be available in those later rounds. If you don't go quarterback right off the rip, I think he will definitely be serviceable. A lot of good fantasy targets available here in the San Francisco 49ers.
It's really interesting with the 49ers because we always talk about teams that go from worst to first and how that becomes such a relevant thing in the NFL because of parity and because of the way that the NFL is set up. And that's also why it's the best league in the entire world. right? We can all agree with that. This is one of those ones that you circle, right? And you say the 49ers being in last place in that division have a legitimate shot to win. And if you're thinking the sports books even putting the line at 10.5, they're telling you what they think about the 49ers, because the sports books are not going to put their whatever out there to get absolutely torn to shreds unless they're very confident in what they're doing. And that 10.5 line is a statement, in my opinion. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value on the 49ers. I think you could still get the 49ers at really good numbers, not only to win the division, but also to win the NFC as well too, and possibly be the representatives in the Super Bowl once they get back healthy. Once you add Ayuk, once you have Pearsall, once you have Jennings, the three-headed monster right there to go along with Kittle, a great offensive line, a great running game, a quarterback that's now had the opportunity to be there before and experience and all that. And then I think one of the number one things that we're overlooking here is the fact that they have Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator. And if you look at what Saleh did before when he was there at DC, you look at what the Jets were when he was there and how much they fell off when Saleh left. I think that's one of the most underrated hirings that we've seen this entire offseason is Saleh going there as DC. And I think they will be very, very good.
I don't know who had it underrated, because when it happened, we were both like, holy crap. Like, why? They did also pick up a Equinemius St. Brown. I don't know how to pronounce his name either.
Cool.
St. Brown. And
I'm sure we'll hear about it on a podcast.
And Robbie Chosen.
Oh,
do you remember Robbie?
Good.
Robbie?
Yeah.
What was his last name?
Anderson.
Robbie Anderson. Now he's the chosen one.
Yeah.
The chosen one sitting on the fourth string. Well, let's wrap up the NFC West. Let's get into the AFC real quick here. Obviously, there's a little bit things going on here. The Chiefs obviously went into the division at 15-2. Over under is 10.5. There is no reason in any world where I don't see that they don't at least get 11 wins again. Again, it's just the most, whatever team you want to call it. And for that reason alone, excuse me, fantasy players on the Kansas City Chiefs are like throwing darts at a dartboard with a blindfold on. Who knows who's going to get the ball? Who knows who's going to get the distribution? I do believe that Travis Kelce has a comeback season this year. I think you can draft him with confidence. But again, wide receivers, obviously, I think was it Rashee Rice is going to be out for a few games, disciplinary suspension. You added Hollywood Brown, the backfield with Pacheco, and there's just too many weapons. Not to say weapons like top tier talent, but there's just too many ways for Patrick Mahomes to spread the ball. And Andy Reid knows this. They take what's available. They're not force feeding anybody. They don't have the prima donna attitudes where people are on the sidelines complaining because they don't get the touches. And I think that that's what makes the Kansas City Chiefs so successful. I fully expect them to win this division again and represent out of the AFC. I don't know if they necessarily go to the Super Bowl again, but I do believe we will see them in the AFC Championship for the 9th year in a row, 10th year, 15th. I don't know, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. I think they're a borderline wild card team this year. Hot take, whatever you want to call it. I just think, listen, we've all seen good comeback stories that have happened before. You say Travis Kelce, somebody else says Kim Kardashian. She had cum in her back in that video, I believe. I do think that there's an interesting opportunity.
Nice Park and Recreation's outtake there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do think that there's an interesting opportunity here. I had Travis Kelce and I had Patrick Mahomes last year, and they absolutely shit the bed for me. I'm not in on Mahomes at all. Rashee Rice is going to miss the first 6 games of the year. I don't know what's going on in that wide receiver room. I don't know who to trust. They're talking about Sky Moore out there. I've seen Sky Moore. I'm absolutely good. Pacheco, okay, cool. Is he going to stay healthy? He runs like a fucking bowling ball into everywhere that he goes, and he's always hurt. He's always injured. He goes a million miles an hour. There's no way that you can, project that out. And then the defense. I mean, I know Spags is going to be great. He's going to be in his bag, but I mean, how long can you just continue to overperform and find these diamonds in the rough that somehow come out and make a difference? I'm not in personally on the Chiefs this year. I have a different team that I like to win this division. Hard Rock has their over-under at 11.5 in terms of wins. If it was 11.5, I would probably say take the under. I think I have them pegged around 10 or 11 wins.
Well, I think they had 3 to 4 games where it was one of those last second touch things that went their way or something.
For sure.
Of that nature.
I mean, even week 1, you get the Isaiah Likely. There's just so much shit, right? You talk about just the Bills games and just everything. It's literally it's everything built into one. I don't know how much longer this can last with the snake oil. And I feel like Travis Kelce, God bless him. You know, he is in love with Taylor Swift. There's one thing that we can say that is a real relationship. It is not faked or for TV. Happy for them. Go have some babies, dude. Like, just, you know, I don't know. This, I don't know. I just, I'm
Why
not
do
in
they
on the
have to have
Chiefs this
babies,
year.
Jeff?
I don't have to have babies. Go do whatever you want to. Do you feel like
Go live
Travis Kelce is like
Go
weird
live
in
it
the
on a
bedroom
deserted
a little
island.
bit? I feel like he might be weird in the bedroom.
Okay, and moving on out of the Kansas City Chiefs, let's get into the Chargers coming
Like
out
he's
of
that guy
LA.
that like names
At
body parts.
11-6
You know what I
last
mean?
year, they were obviously second in the division.
Comes up
The
with a
over-under
name
total
for
for them is 9.5. Lad McConkey,
Interesting.
Justin Herbert, Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen. A lot of the different weapons going on here. Obviously, Lad McConkey is going to be the number one target coming off this team. Justin Herbert's going to be a very serviceable quarterback, being able to pick up in the 5th, 6th round. I really enjoy Keenan Allen going back there. I thought Keenan Allen proved that he had some stuff left in the tank. He became Caleb Williams' favorite target last year with the Chicago Bears. But my eyeball is going to be on Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson obviously has underperformed since he's gotten into the league. He is available way late in fantasy rounds. And I do believe it's going to be, I think with Lad and Keenan, it's going to obviously open up some more opportunities for Quentin, because let's be honest, he's probably going to be listed as number 3. Let's see what that is right here. But that's somebody that you could definitely look at in late rounds for sure.
I love the Chargers this year. Over 9.5, division winner, Harbaugh effect. I think he's one of the best coaches in the division.
Listed as wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I love Lad McConkey this year as well too. I had him last year. He was a big player for me. I think that with that defense and how good that defense is going to be to pair along with that offense, you know, you're talking about they went out and got who was it? Omari and Hampton, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers, running back out of North Carolina, who I've been in love with for many years at the University of North Carolina. I think he's going to be a game changer. Yeah, I mean, I love it. According to Justice, Quentin Johnson is just the man who has no hands. I do agree with you.
Lots of drops.
Tons of drops, but you know, the opportunity's there. And if he can figure it out finally, which I hear he's having a pretty good camp.
What's going to go on with the backfield? Najee Harris, is he coming back from a fireworks injury or something? What did I see with him?
I feel like they have like enough depth back there where I don't really care. Like I said, I like Omari and Hampton. I don't know if he'll be.
Well, I'm just talking about for fantasy reasons here. Are we drafting Najee Harris? Are we? I think Omari and Hampton is going pretty high.
I'm not
in fantasy drafts.
Drafting Najee Harris. I mean, he could be valuable for sure. I just don't know, and I don't know how Harbaugh is going to react to everything that happened with the fireworks incident and stuff.
He shot a firework in his eyeball or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
No, better than blowing your finger off, like what was the guy from the Giants that blew?
I guess it depends on if you're somebody who catches the ball or if you're a defensive end who just rushes the passer. So for him, Najee, yes, yeah, probably needs
out of both eyes,
on his fingers and be able to see as well too. But JPP can just be blind and have a nub on him and just attack the quarterback.
And I also do believe that the Chargers lost one of their starting offensive linemen for the year.
Rashawn Slater done for the year, unfortunately. Patellar tendon, tough.
Especially after he went out and got Joe Alt. That offensive line was going to look pretty stout. And then, what about Will Dissly? I don't know a lot about him. I know I see Tyler Conklin as the number 2 over here. Obviously, I know who that is. I haven't seen a whole lot out of Will Dissly. Any thoughts on him since this is your favorite team?
Will Dissly?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's their starting tight end.
I understand who it is. I mean, I don't think that historically Herbert has been a huge tight end person. Maybe that changes under Harbaugh a little bit. I mean, Dissly, sure.
Well,
what do you want to take him as tight end 10? Is that what you want? Or
let me just tell you this right here. So throughout his time in Seattle, right? We're going to start back at 2018. This was his targets: 14, 27, 29, 26, 38, 22. His first year with the Chargers, 64 targets.
Mm-hmm.
Now you divide that by what? 18 or is it 17? What's the actual total?
What did he finish with?
Is it 17 games played?
Where did he finish as tight end number last year?
I don't know, but can I finish this thought first? Is there 17 games played? Is that right? So that's 3.7 targets a game. That's probably not what you want to see out of your tight end. No. But like you said, who knows what's going to be? Who knows?
Well, I can tell you, Ladd McConkey is going to get a lot of looks, and I'm hoping for Ladd McConkey on the swing back. I will tell you that. John Pickleton, if you're listening to this, okay, I know we're drafting right around each other in this draft.
Ladd McConkey's been going in like the first round.
No, he's not.
Okay. You and Pink are going to be fighting over shit. And you know what? The funny thing is I know your strategy, you know my strategy, and we're both going to be pissed each other on opposite sides of the spectrum. I can 100% guarantee you that.
Love on the spectrum. Here we are.
Here we go. The Denver Broncos surging last year to a 10-7 record with Bo Nix coming out looking very, very good. Over-under's 9.5.
Yeah.
You know, jumping off the page, I'd be like, yeah, take the over. I'm not as high as everybody is on Bo Nix.
No.
I think that the first year, obviously, you got it on there. First year with Sean Payton. You know, as you have pointed out numerous times, you get the film on people, you realize what their tendencies are. I don't know if he's going to have such a strong season. He was actually a very quiet, good season out of him in Denver. And I think that happens a lot with some of those teams, especially in Colorado, where it doesn't have the LA spotlights and none of the primetime games. I tell you who I am targeting off this team, and that is going to be Courtland Sutton. I think that he had an absolute monster target share last year. I think it will continue. Bo Nix will also be a serviceable quarterback from what I've seen, that him going in certain rounds, though. I'm a little bit like, what?
Fantasy-wise, I don't really understand it, but.
And to your point, you know, Evan Ingram is obviously the big move that everybody's like, Evan Ingram. Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy, for sure. But again, I don't know what was the target share of Bo Nix to his tight ends, as you just pointed out from the last one. I don't know. To me, it's kind of Courtland Sutton or bust. I do believe they have Marvin Mims Jr. I do believe is another target on there that I think could have a very good year as well. But outside of that, that's pretty much all I'm targeting on that team.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about RJ Harvey, kid out of UCF. It's funny, the depth chart came out and they had him listed as the 4th-string running back. Preseason happens, one's come out. He's the first person to get a carry. So it reminded me
number 2 now.
It reminded me a couple years ago of a guy that Sean Payton had named Alvin Kamara. And I actually ended this is terrible. I actually ended a fantasy football league because I did this, which is I had a guy who was next to me, Corey DeVerney, and Buff can equate to this. We were in a keeper league, and it was like the last 3 rounds, and I wanted a handcuff for my Washington Redskins running back. I forget who it was. It was some running back out of Florida, long-haired dread guy. You might remember him. I don't. John might know as well too. I forget the kid's name. It was like a Chris Ivory mold, but it wasn't Chris Ivory. Anyway, long story short, I drafted Alvin Kamara, and right before I wanted to, my handcuff got taken. I drafted Kamara. So I talked to Corey. I'm like, Corey, you're a Saints fan. At this time, it's like Adrian Peterson. There's somebody else. Like Kamara was the 4th-string running back. I was like, listen, do you want to swap these running backs? That way you have a handcuff, I have a handcuff. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do you a solid. We swap in a keeper league. This guy gets Alvin Kamara in the 15th round that I traded him on draft day, which ended up giving him his keepers at the time were like Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, and Alvin Kamara. And that was pretty much the end of that keeper league because it just became too dominant and the rules were terrible and we fucked it up. That being said, this reminds me of that situation. I think RJ Harvey's going to be able to get a lot of burn in this offense. I agree with you on the under on their wins. I'm not a huge Broncos fan. I've never been a real big Sean Payton fan. I think he's been blessed with a lot of talent and done very little with it. I will say this is that I think Evan Ingram has a chance to be tight end 1 this year in fantasy football for sure.
If he's healthy.
If he's healthy. Target share, catch radius. I think the way that they're going to use him in that offense as a focal point in the middle of the field, I think all signs point to a really big year from Evan Ingram.
I would agree. Again, though, where he's being drafted, again, everybody's drafts is different. You know, there's definitely, I've been in drafts where it was a running back run for the 1st and 2nd rounds. So if you didn't draft a running back the 1st, 2nd rounds, you were screwed. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about Chuba Hubbard going in the 2nd round. And then I've also been in ones where it's just all wide receivers the entire first. So, I mean, it is what it is. To me, the tight end category, to your point, the spread of what you look at, it was tight ends 1 versus 7. You know how it ends. If you look at it and look at the spread, even if it's 50 points, I mean, you're literally talking about 5 to 6 points a game, which obviously could help you win a game. I do believe that there's a few other tight ends out there that can provide some good upside. But with this offense, I do believe in what now you're bringing in RJ Harvey to the mix, which honestly I did forget to talk about. But how do you think that handles J.K. Dobbins' load share? Does that, drop him back from a RB1 to, an RB 0.75? You like that?
Well, that would be going down.
Correct, because of the load share. That's what I'm saying. Like you see, like a lot of stuff that's coming out of Jacksonville right now has Tank Bigsby carrying 60% of the share versus 40% for Trevor Etienne.
I think it'll be somewhere around that split, something like that.
So it's definitely going to cut into his carries, is what you're saying.
For sure, and it should. Now, the question is, who do you think is going to be more electric when they get the ball in their hands?
That's a good point. We'll see. God, I can't wait for football. Last team that we got to talk about here is the bottom dwellers in Las Vegas, the Raiders. And honestly, this team, I have no idea. I mean, on paper, Geno Smith, Ashton Jeanty, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton, I apologize, Brock Bowers. Not the worst starting lineup. It's really not. You got Jack Beach just coming out that's got a lot of eyeballs on him. Raheem Mostert is your backup. You got Zamir White back there as your third. I think that running back room is pretty stout. Everybody's going to be like, hey, there's going to give the ball to Ashton Jeanty, who we saw in the preseason, rush for -1 yards. And, obviously all of the haters came out of the woodwork. Like, this is what we told you. He went against one good team against Penn State or whatever, and he got shut down or whoever it was. I'm not going
shut down, though. That's the weird thing about it.
Well, he got shut down by his standards or whatever. So I don't know. To me, the offensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders is so questionable that I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, maybe your slot guy. I say I do. Brock Bowers is probably going to be obviously getting just a lion's share because the ball is going to have to come out so quick. I don't know about Ashton Jeanty. I'm not a big fan, especially drafting rookies and expecting them to produce at a top level. Some of these mock drafts have Ashton Jeanty going anywhere from 5 to 9. To me, that's just too high for a rookie on an unproven team or on a shit team. I tell you who I am in love with, though, outside of Brock Bowers, which I don't think I'll ever take a tight end that high, especially with that. But if it falls in my lap, it falls in my lap. But I love Jacoby Myers. He's a true number one on this team. He put up great numbers after Devontae Adams left. I think that he is a good number one, and where he's going in fantasy drafts, I think it's an absolute steal. I think that he will most certainly outdo his ADP in this league. That's who I would be targeting in the later rounds out of a lowly Las Vegas Raiders team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. I think the way that they start the year, if they don't get off to a good start, I think it's going to get pretty tough for them. As they do start off with the Patriots, Chargers, Commanders, Bears, Colts, Titans, before they have to go play the Chiefs.
They could go over.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta like, and I mean, they get Jaguars, Broncos, Cowboys, Browns, Chargers, Broncos, Eagles, Texans, Giants, Chiefs. There's not a lot of good news here. I'm kind of weird about the whole Brock Bowers thing. Like, I don't ever remember Geno throwing to tight ends ever in his career, and so. Like, while I loved Bowers last year over and over and over again because he had, Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell or whoever these guys were that were check down, artists that were checking down him every single time. I don't know if Geno's going to be that guy. So, yeah,
I think it's Jacoby and Brock. I think it's the two. I think it's feast or famine there, to your point. I think the short passes are going to Brock.
Ashton at, though. Like, Ashton could be fine. He's going to get 20 touches a game.
You going to take a first-round pick on him, though?
No, I don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's going in the first round.
I have two or three in two of the drafts that I'm in. I have either picked two.
Well, I have 9, and I'm pretty sure. Well, I hope he's not there. Let me just say that. I hope he's not there.
He might be.
He probably will be. But let me ask you a question like this. So, Derrick Henry is obviously a running back that's kind of fallen back in the 13 to 15 range. But to me, would you take a Derrick Henry, a proven back that is an absolute workhorse, right? He loses some of the goal line. He loses some of that because of Lamar Jackson's legs. Or do you take a rookie on an unproven, on a shit team with a terrible offensive line?
10 times out of 10, I'm taking Derrick Henry.
No, this is what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm
There's
saying.
no iteration where I'm taking Ashton Genty over Derrick Henry in fantasy.
What round would you feel comfortable taking Ashton Genty?
Middle of the second.
I was going to say third, but yes, end of second, third, and he probably won't be there. But whatever, I don't care. I'm staying away. John, I hope you draft him. I don't know. John, Buff, TJ, Mark, fucking Mike, Wild Mike. Man, he's been going off on some tangents lately.
He gets into it.
Does he have a fireball machine at his house?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Anything to wrap us up with the NFL here, Jeffrey?
Nothing.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for the NFC West.
Breaking news today: James Cook just signed a extension with the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, nice.
So
what do you get?
They, I believe, highest paid running back in the NFL, guaranteed wise, but year wise, it was a little bit of a cut. So I think it worked out for both.
4 years, $48 million.
Yeah, I think it worked out both ways, where the guaranteed was the most in the NFL. If I'm not mistaken, I saw Shefty tweet something about it. The guarantee was the most, but
right. Well, that's all.
Yeah, 30. 30 guaranteed.
At the end of the day, as a running back, that's all you want, that guaranteed money.
Absolutely. Just give me 30 million, bro. I just ran out for years. I will also say this too. Where is James Cook going in drafts right now?
Low.
Yeah.
Low.
That's going to
which is crazy considering the production that he had at the end of the year. But I think it has to do with Josh Allen. But there's a lot of things going.
Can I be honest with you? If he would have not signed this deal and still reported and had to run this year, I would have been all in on James Cook. The fact that he signed this deal, I feel like it's a protection of investment, right? Like when you're up in games, do you really need to sully the game away with James Cook and risk injury? Or are you going to bring in a backup who's going to get you 2 or 3 yards and just bleed the clock? You know what I mean? So
let me ask you a question, because there's been a lot of contract issues. Before we get on to a quick recap of the NCAA football, we should have it wrapped up here by 12:30. Contracts.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, man. I just don't know how I feel when you sign a 4-year contract, right? And then I get it from a player's perspective. Okay, I get it. And then you play 3 years, and then you're on your 4th year, and you're like, I'm not playing unless I get an extension.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I get hurt, I'm screwed.
Mm-hmm.
As an owner, I'm like, well, you signed a 4-year contract. We'll talk after the 4 years. And they're like, no. Man, to me, it's very, very tricky. It's very, very. Now, I'm not talking about the Jerry Jones bullshit. I'm not talking about anything of that. I'm not talking about, a guy that you're obviously going to re-sign, right? You're obviously going to re-sign him. But on the same token, him as well, like so is a 4-year contract really a 4-year contract? Can we just go out and say that a 5-year contract is really a 4-year contract?
Most of the time there's an option, though. There's a team option or a player option on that last year.
But even then, nobody wants to play on the last year, because if they get hurt, they're out. They're done.
Yeah, you
Their
want
value
some kind of security. I mean, now
I get it. I get it, but
this is just where it is now. It's like Cam Hayward, right? From the Steelers, right?
Signed a 2-year contract.
He's doing a hold-in right now because he signed a contract last year, and he told them
contract.
He said, if I make all pro, I'm coming back, and I'm holding out. And they all laughed. And they're like, we literally just signed the piece of paper. Well, he made all pro, and I was like, I'm 36 years old. There's coaches that are younger than me in this league. I want money, and
they're not
going to say they're not going to pay him. TJ Watt just had to, drop down to get his eagle on for them to finally throw some change at him, and it's not going to happen.
Nope.
But I understand from his perspective. He's like,
I do, but at the end of the day, you signed the contract when you were 35, right? So you took peanuts then and said, if I perform. So instead of taking peanuts then, there should have been contract accelerators in there. His agent should have put the accelerator in there and say, okay, if I get X amount of tackles, I get an increase. If I get all pro, I get an increase to put me on the level of the $24 million, which is where some of the comparable players that he has. To me, that's on you and that's on your agent. Because if you're going to tell me as a business owner, hey, if I play good, I'm coming back. I don't give a shit. Come back all you want. Okay. But you signed this and he has like 2 years left on that deal.
Yeah. I think he signed a 4-year deal at 35.
It was like 3. It was something weird. It was like 14.5 million where, people that are comparable are getting paid $24 million a year. So he's getting shorted $10 million a year, but you got to bet on yourself at some point. Right. And that's where I feel like myself personally, if I was an owner, I would be down with all kinds of accelerators, but they would go year by year. So it'd be bonuses, things of that nature to prevent somebody like, and I'm not saying this, but like not even a Jamar Chase, somebody that like a Keenan Allen, let's just say Keenan Allen, who's kind of, whatever, maybe he deserves $15 million a year, but the highest pays are getting paid $35 million a year. In 1 year, he produces at that level, and now he's going to hold out and wants a $35 million per year contract for the next 3 years. Nah, bro, I'm going to keep paying you the 15, but we're going to have accelerators in there. If you hit those numbers, then I pay you out as bonuses. And I'm not sure how that works with the salary cap, but to me, like I said, when we have these contracts and it's a 4-year contract, it's not a 4-year contract. It's a 3-year contract. And at the end of the day, I thought Deeds said it best on, Mr. Deeds. Well, if you played like shit, could I cut your salary? Absolutely not. So you have one good season, and it happens in baseball more than anything. Baseball is just out of control. You play for 5 years, you have a 5-year contract, whatever. And, on the 5th year, because those extensions don't usually happen, you have an awesome year. And now all of a sudden you're the highest paid at that position for one good year. I don't know. I think it's messy. I think the only people it sucks for is the fans. Everybody else, it's business. It is what it is. Well, speaking of shit and weird things that happen, the college football rankings have come out. This is one of Jeffrey's favorite times of the year. He gets to talk about college football before anybody's set on the field and say who's going to be good and who's not. Just favorite time of the year. Texas comes out at number 1, Penn State number 2, Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Oregon, Alabama, LSU, and Miami round out the top 10. Now, obviously, it is very SEC heavy. The usual suspects are in there. Penn State obviously jumping up. That's a big one. I think for them to be.
They got a good quarterback.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying Penn State. It's this year a bust because of the talent they have on the roster. Jeffrey knows that I am not the hugest, not necessarily a fan. I just don't dive into college a lot, especially with this whole money paid shit. But I think obviously the SEC has what 1, 2, 3, 4, only 4 out of 10. All right, there we go. Big Ten is 2. Notre Dame, whatever. My biggest surprise, Jeffrey, I don't know if you got to see this. Florida comes in at 15th. I don't see Florida State in the top 25 here.
No.
Let me
They're probably around 48.
Let me get my reading glasses here. Oh, there it is. Complete rankings. Okay. Let me zoom all the way down. Well, I don't know why. Oh, it doesn't. All NCAA. Here we go. Nope, still don't see it. Where's it at, Jeffrey?
I could care less.
Okay. Well, let's just say that the hopes are low at Florida State to start with, which honestly, I love that position. I love being where nobody says that you're good and then you come out and be good. So you got that going for you. My biggest issue, not even an issue, I guess. My biggest, what was the Fighting Illini of the University of Illinois ranked 12th in the nation. Now, the Fighting Illini are from my home state of Illinois. I've always keep them a little secondary to my heart. Always love to see them do well. But 12th in the nation? Jeffrey, I think that these people have lost their minds.
It's very interesting. I mean, we were saying this, Illinois is not a better football team than Florida, right? But So this is why
At least as far as
I
I know.
I
Apparently,
hate
I don't know.
I hate preseason rankings. I think they're egregious. Florida State plays Alabama week 1. If Florida State beats Alabama, which is a long shot, I think the spread is like 7.5 or something like that, whatever it is, over a touchdown at home. That means you're probably closer to 2 scores than you are 1. But I'm sorry.
Where is it at? Is it in
Doak?
Doak?
No, yeah, it's in Doak.
Okay.
I just feel like, all right, so FSU beats Alabama week 1. Do they all of a sudden go from the 50th ranked team in the nation to now they're top 10 because they beat a top 10 team?
I think they would definitely jump in the top 25.
So, all right, so do you understand like my plight about this? I just don't fucking get it, dude. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I hate that we put out preseason rankings. Let the kids play on the field.
Let's look at the Florida State schedule here.
After 6 weeks, let's go back to it. We start out with Alabama, then we have 2 guaranteed wins.
East Texas A&M, well. Kent State, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia just had a bunch of injuries as well too.
Miami.
So that should be one. Miami,
at
right?
Home.
Like so Miami has Carson Beck. All right. Carson Beck, who held Georgia back last year. Like, do you know how bad of a quarterback you have to be to hold fucking Georgia back from being a good football team?
And then get a bag to go to Miami?
And then get a bag to go to Miami? Like, well, how backwards are we right now? You know, I mean, like we said, he definitely looks like he's on the spectrum somehow, which is neither here nor there, but he's got those sunken eyes. It looks like he's come off of a bender every time I see him. I don't know, man.
All right, let's do this.
And look, what? Go ahead.
I want your prediction here. We're gonna do a very, very quick prediction for our teams. So I want you to keep track of the win total. Okay. So this is who you have. So just write down your win so I can get your win total. Alabama, East Texas, Kent State, Virginia, Miami, Pitt, Stanford, Wake Forest, Clemson, Virginia Tech, NC State, and finishing at the almighty University of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? How many wins?
I'll give them.
You want to go game by game here?
No.
Alabama.
I'll give them 1 win out of the Big 4. So 1 win out of the Big 4, which to me is going to be Miami, Florida, Clemson, Alabama. You get one of those. You lose the other 3.
Okay. So you're predicting wins over East Texas and Kansas State, Kent State. So what's the over under on wins?
Aggregate, I think they'll have like one other loss besides the other one. So I think they'll lose 4 games and they'll win 7 or 8.
Really? 7.5 is the over under.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got over?
Can I watch them week 1 against Alabama?
Nope. I need the preseason judge.
I'll take over 7.5.
All right.
It's all semantics. Texas is winning the national championship, and they're winning with a quarterback in Arch Manning who had to shut down his Venmo. So I know I was saying a little bit about this. We were talking about a little bit.
So that was
gambling and stuff like that, huh?
That was Arch Manning. I thought it was somebody else.
No, so here's what happened. It was the quarterback from Oklahoma. Quarterback from Oklahoma. Somebody discovered his Venmo, and there was a bunch of shit that was on there that was literally he was sending money to people for like sports gambling. He literally sent one of the Venmo payments was for the UCLA versus USC game, which he sent on the day that UCLA and USC played. The score was 48-45. This is like 2 or 3 years ago. Anyway, so they all, somebody discovered this.
Somebody hacked his Venmo?
No, nobody hacked his Venmo. He doesn't have it on private. So if you don't have your Venmo on private,
he was legitimately sending people money on game days.
Yes, but not for any team that he was playing for. It was just like on different games.
So he was betting on different. He was betting on
also, how dumb are you? He came out and said that the descriptions in the Venmo transactions were not accurate depictions of what the money was actually sent for. They were all made up jokes. And it's like, sure, you can say that, But if you send the money for the UCLA versus USC game on the day that UCLA versus USC played, what are we doing?
Who was he sending the money to?
His friends, other people on Venmo.
Weird.
Make sure you put your shit on private. Long story short, they went and they found Arch Manning's Venmo. There was a bunch of stuff on there, nothing gambling related. But he had sent money to some of his boys for butt stuff and different things like that. Like, young kid jokes that they're making. Yeah. Anyway, both of these have now been deactivated. Why would you ever have
any of your shit on public anyway? My God, like 101. Facebook, put your Facebook profile on whatever private. Instagram, whatever, that's public. I mean, there's no point in having a private Instagram. I mean, you're literally on Instagram to try to show off your lifestyle. I don't know, whatever. All right, so Jeffrey has the over 7.5 here. Now the Florida Gators have a very interesting schedule this year. They do start off with a cupcake and LIU, which I don't even know who is LIU. Long Island University. Then we go South Florida, LSU, Miami, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then Florida State. Mm-hmm. Jeffrey, is this the hardest football schedule that you've ever seen in college football history?
I don't know. We can judge that at the end of the year.
Okay. Funny enough,
you want me to be like, on paper, right? Like you play Miami, who's supposed to be a top.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, obviously, on paper, preseason, okay. This is the toughest schedule in history. I mean, that's just what everybody's saying.
I don't even think they have the toughest schedule in the country, according to ESPN.
What? See, this is where you just don't give me anything, right? You just. Who has the toughest college football schedule in 2025? Rankings. This is 24/7 Sports here. Mm-hmm. Florida State is number 10. That just lost all credibility.
Why?
I don't know. They have Gators at 3. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do they have at 1? They have. I knew they were top 5, but there's somebody else they had at 1.
Oklahoma.
Give
me a fucking break. This is their schedule. Illinois State, Michigan, Temple, Auburn, Kent State, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. That's a tough schedule.
Give me a break. Never mind. There are.
You know what, though? I will say this. This is all predicated that the SEC teams are as vaulted as they want. Because if you look at these schedules, they're all SEC teams, right? The number 2 one is Mississippi State. It's Southern Miss, Arizona State, Alcorn State, Northern Illinois, Tennessee, Texas A&M. Yeah, that one to me is out of the question. You guys got that wrong. I don't know. Booty Venmos is insanity indeed. Jeffrey likes the booty. That's going to do it for us today on The Uninformed Fan. Thank you so much for everyone jumping in today. Appreciate all the comments, likes, concerns, questions, and, of course, the booty comments.
Justice,
next week,
do me a favor. Go to TikTok, go to IG, like some of these fucking reels.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys haven't seen, we are now on TikTok. And TikTok is actually doing pretty well. Have you seen that? We're almost like 1,000 views on every video that we posted.
Trying to figure out why the quality of my end looks so terrible.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Maybe it's your camera because it'll be blurry.
Maybe it's your camera.
Maybe.
And don't forget to make sure to hit that thumbs up and follow the button. That's the thing. So we've gotten. I think I posted. So I posted every clip that he sent. Right, and I just spread it out per day. They all had 1,000 views, and we gained 3 followers. So Rome wasn't built today, and neither was TikTok following. We'll see what's up. I appreciate that, Justice. You're the best.
Thank you.
You know Justice. You know what our best performing videos and posts on there are obviously dildos, because I think it's because the hashtag dildo. I put hashtag dildo on there, and I think
we're getting the lesbian.
I think we're getting all the pervs. No, there's definitely not women. It's all guys. So I think it's definitely the pervs out there for sure. For sure. We'll see what kind of clips that this comes up. So next week we will be back at 11 o'clock once again to break down the next NFL conference. Jeffrey, I will give you the choice of that. Which
Well, we only
conference?
have
Or
two.
actually, you know what?
It's
We
either
can put it out
north or
to the
south.
viewers.
So.
We can put it out to the viewers over
Justice,
here.
what do you want next week? You want us to talk Bears or you want us to talk Bucks?
Oh, okay.
Whatever
we'll
Justice says,
we'll do the South then. So next week will be the South.
No, because he might want to save the Bucks for the last week.
Well, because he's also going to have his Colts in there. Is he a Colts fan too? No, that's it. That's Afro Man.
It's James.
Yeah, Afro Man. Well, as we await Justice to tell us what we're going to do here, because he is on YouTube, that is a couple seconds delayed. Oh, he wants to go Bears. Shocker. So we will break down the North divisions.
Oh, James is here too. He said do Bucks immediately.
James is here.
Lurking in the background, bro.
Lurking. I like it.
Can we talk about this picture right here? That is a hell of a profile pic.
Looks like he's about to commit a crime.
Not all black people look alike.
Wow, Justice. Wow.
Hey man, you know.
God, I just don't want to get canceled. I can't. I want to jump in the
3 followers, Justice. We can't do this.
I want to jump in the pool so bad, Justice. I know you don't like it.
By the way, hey, speaking of TikTok, have you seen the babies, the AI babies?
Yeah,
it's the funniest shit. Oh my god, bro. I am addicted.
Yeah, my mama tried to stick this bottle in my face, and
when he was like, he said something. He's like, when you're trying to burp me, pat me on the back. Don't try to readjust my spine, motherfucker. I was like, I was dying, bro. Because that's literally like you're like trying to pat him as hard. He's like, who's taking you home today? I was like, oh, somebody paying my mama's bills. Got us an Uber Black.
Nice. Why is Jalen Hurts trending?
It's hilarious. Jalen Hurts.
Nothing good. That's absolutely right. All right, guys, we will be back next week at 11 o'clock, and we will be breaking down the Northern divisions. Well, actually, we got two different things here. We need a tiebreaker.
Why?
Well,
no, we're going with Justin been here all day. James just showed up. We're not.
How do you know? How do you know? James could have been here the whole time and just lurking.
He's not. He's at work. He's bored right now. He's doing nothing by a pool. I already know what he's doing. All right. He had 10 seconds. He hopped on. He saw we were live. He probably had 3 tables right now. No cabanas. Life sucks. It's going to be okay.
So we will be breaking down the best division in the entire NFL in the NFC North, and we will also do the AFC North. 0 tables.
0 tables. I know, bro.
That's going to do it for us today, guys. Everybody have a great time. Thank you so much for joining in. We will see you next week at 11 a.m. Until then, if you are driving, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane.
Peace. Great.
Oh, Justice just started following us on TikTok.
Oh, good.
You sit on a throne of lies, Justice.
We just did the sign off. You can't go back now and start attacking the viewers. It's crazy.
I can attack and leave. Peace.
Why? Wait a minute. Why is Jalen Hurts trending?